Hey everybody and welcome to TalkChain, everybody's favorite cryptocurrency podcast. Today we're going to talk about KODAKCoin, worried that its coins might not actually be tradable. We're also going to talk about Google purging all sorts of cryptocurrency ads, and finally we're going to get to the great Steve Bannon and his thoughts on crypto. Rob, how you doing today?
I'm doing great after that introduction.
Awesome. So, total market cap just shy of 400 billion. Everything pretty green today after a tumultuous weekend, I would say. Not going to do too much TA on Bitcoin, but we are trending downwards, it seems like. And my trading view is not really coming up, but we'll just forget that. Anyway, let's get to our top thing today. So, KODAKCoin. Rob, Kodak was a dying photography company and it got brought back to life due to crypto. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, so interesting about Kodak. They kind of fell off when I guess it was digital photography came out, and they didn't really jump on that train. So I think that they're trying to make up for that by jumping on the blockchain train
Yeah,
early.
hell yeah. But so they released some papers saying that they're worried that the SEC is going to come in and actually stop or prevent them from being traded if it deems them a security.
Yeah, so they issued what they call a light paper, which I assume is just a shortened version or a summary of the white paper that's probably likely to follow. Um, yeah, so the big issue is they plan on issuing something called a simple agreement for future tokens, which is something that the SEC is specifically looking into.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if the SEC considers it a security, then it will have to be issued as a security token, and there's not necessarily any way to trade those right now. Um,
Yeah, it's kind of a no man's land, I guess, right?
yeah, until some sort of exchange like T0 comes out, it doesn't look like it's gonna happen anytime soon. It's yeah, so it's the second of a few problems that have come out because they originally were supposed to have the public sale for their coin on January 31st, but that got delayed because of the know your customer
Mm,
stuff, and they weren't sure if some of the people investing were accredited investors, and
right.
so everything got pushed back, and it's still not out. So
Hmm.
it's been kind of a mess altogether.
That's too bad because I really had a lot of potential. It seems like Kodak, it was good to see it coming back. It brings me back to an earlier time in my life.
Yeah, instant pictures, instant photography. Great
Yeah.
time.
So we're actually going to do a breakdown of the white paper from Kodak Coin later in the week. So anybody who's interested in diving into this with us, you should definitely keep your eyes tuned for our YouTube channel. All right. So the next thing we want to talk about is Google purging cryptocurrency ads and content. So this is an interesting thing, just because I'm not exactly clear why these big companies would want to turn away revenue like this, but I think, when we were talking about this before, Rob, it does kind of make sense if they don't want to be associated with any scams and things like that. And the crypto world is rife, full of scams. So that may be why, but Facebook's already banned crypto ads, and it looks like Google might be moving to do that as well, even though they haven't explicitly stated it.
Yeah, so it looks like they're kind of doing it underhandedly. Um, but yeah, it's interesting to see how it unfolds. When you see things like BitConnect and Davercoin come out, ones that are like heavily advertised, and see those kind of all fall apart and the value drops by 99%, it doesn't really look great for Google if they're allowing advertisements for these places, even though
Yeah.
it's not them doing it, it's still everyone knows that it's a Google ad.
Yeah, that's true, and it kind of makes sense. But I don't think it seems like it's very short-sighted to just ban all crypto ads rather than doing some sort of diligence behind the project, or maybe having like a higher bar where they need to provide much more information on the project. But um, yeah, I don't know, because like long term, if this space does get regulated by the SEC more, it doesn't seem like a great idea of these companies to just ban these ads.
Well, I think it's something that is going to be pretty fluid. It seems to be only ICOs right now.
Mm.
It's probably better in their opinion to let the product develop
Hmm.
a bit so like we can they can sort out whether or not it's a scam before putting every ICO that wants to be placed on a Google ad up immediately.
Yeah, but I think the other thing, this isn't the first time that YouTube at least has, yeah, so I didn't mention YouTube, but YouTube is also part of this. Some video loggers such as ourselves, I don't know why we didn't get pulled, but maybe we need a few more subscribers. But uh,
Thankfully, we're
some
not
big
full.
names have actually said that their YouTube channel's been closed just for talking about crypto. So that seems pretty ridiculous as well if they're trying to have an open just a platform like that, but it seems to be going on and there's not really a clear reason why.
Yeah, so the Bad Crypto podcast was taken off. I don't know if you've watched it, but when I was doing research on T Zero and Patrick Byrne,
Mm.
they had a pretty good interview with him. So I have listened to a couple episodes of theirs, and they seem to be pretty good, and they know what they're talking about.
Hmm.
So it's weird that they would get rid of such a massive channel, who really they just kind of cover news and nothing too crazy.
Yeah, and without even like a good reason why or what could bring them back, like I think that's what's kind of annoying. And I know a lot of conservative um, YouTubers have had their content demonetized and things like that, but for crypto, it just doesn't seem like there's no political agenda usually with this. I mean, maybe like we are very much anti-government when it comes to the money system, so maybe that's why. But it's not abundantly clear to me.
By we, you mean conservatives and not me and you. Well, you mean
I'm
you, but
talking
not
about,
me.
well, what's your opinion on the money system?
It doesn't matter. This isn't a political channel. But what I think what's important here is that the that Google's not giving an explanation as to whether or not they are taking them down. There's um there's a picture that's shown towards the top there where an ICO marketing campaign shows the number of clicks over an extended period of time on day one and day two,
Hmm.
and they go um, up to from 155,000 to 862,000 impressions in day one, and all the way down to the hundreds on day two.
Mm.
So, and Google says that nothing's happening with that. So it seems strange to me that they would do that, or that they would kind of have no explanation for the significant drop over a 2 day period.
Yeah, and I think everybody just wants transparency when it comes to this. If they could just come up with an answer, and whatever that answer is, then fine. But the obfuscation, I think, is the most frustrating thing.
Definitely. But speaking of right wings, we can get into Mr. Bannon. Um, so, ex-Trump aide Steve Bannon has endorsed cryptocurrency pretty strongly, actually. Let me just see. Um, so, according to Steve, the centralized control and constant deflation of fiat currencies is a form of slavery. Central banks are in the business of debasing your currency, and he suggested that cryptocurrencies are a way to challenge them. So it's a pretty strong endorsement, both against fiat currency and for cryptocurrency. So whether or not you like him as a person, we all know he runs Breitbart, or used to run Breitbart, and has done some pretty sketchy things in general. It's interesting to see some pretty big influencers talk about it in a positive way.
Yeah, I think the whole crypto thing seems to be a libertarian idea, pretty much to stop giving centralized control to few people. So I think it makes sense for Mr. Bannon to endorse crypto, even though he has had his yeah, his reputation has been not the cleanest. But I think given that he's left the Trump administration and he's off, I think he's back at Breitbart now doing something. that I think he's really trying to carve out his latest niche. And I don't know if it's going to have anything to do with crypto, but he seems like a very opportunistic type, and it seems like if crypto's doing well, it's easy for him to just to comment on it and get praise from a libertarian-minded people in the crypto community.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the context was, whether or not he was asked about it or if he just brought it up on his own. But an interesting thing that I didn't know about him is that he was an investment banker at Goldman Sachs at one point. So he does have an okay understanding of the financial system. So it's not like it's a total amateur talking about it.
Yeah, and I guess, being in the Trump administration, even though, what does that even mean? Must give him some insight on how things actually work up there in the government.
Definitely.
So that's all we got for you today, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Let us know what you think about any of these delightful articles we brought up today. And subscribe, like, follow us at TalkChainPod. And Rob, anything else?
Share with your friends, your family, Reddit, Facebook, anywhere else you can think of.
Awesome. And with that, we're going to wrap it up. Have a great Daylight Savings Sunday, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.